everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Bleav in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to the Bleav in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guys, Jerraud Powers and Rodney McLeod, and we are going to go over Week 7 of the NFL, and a lot of stuff to kind of unpack here with Week 7. Some interesting things happen, some great things, some, oh my goodness, eye-opening things. But really, some of the bigger points that comes down to me, and you brought it up before we started recording, Rodney, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to 3-4. They have a worse record than the Indianapolis Colts, falling to the team that is literally trying to give all of their players away, 21-3 to Carolina. Wow. What do you think? What's going on over there?
Man, there's a lot, I think, happening over there when you look at this past game. You know, you look at Carolina, them just shipping away Christian McCaffrey, somebody who is a franchise, player for them. And then just 2 weeks ago, they now got rid of their coach, right? And you see the Robbie Anderson effect about a week ago, and it looks as if the season is headed downhill for them, and there's no way with Tampa Bay coming in that they have a chance of winning, right? But they find a way to get it done, and I think you have to really look at the other side of the ball. And when you see Tom Brady behind center, you're usually feel pretty secure about a game like that. With everything that Carolina is going through within their locker room, you have to feel confident that with 12 behind center, Tampa Bay Super Bowl champions, a couple years ago, they're going to win. And that wasn't the case. And so it really points to what's happening in Tampa right now inside that locker room, and is what's happening for Tom Brady off the field really affecting him. You talk about the mental aspect of the game, and it's real. And when things aren't necessarily going right at the home front, it's hard to then come in and be the same player that you've always been. And I think we're starting to just see the effects of that, and it's rolling over into the rest of the team. When your Hall of Fame quarterback, is not showing up to practice, for certain things outside of the game, and you hear all these rumors about not practicing certain days. It just starts to question maybe unfortunately his commitment. And Tom is one of the best, man, and I think his preparation has made him who he is. And so now when you see some of that start to go, is that now also how others are viewing their level of preparation as well as they enter these games. So it's tough, man. They have to really have some heart-to-hearts and figure some things out. You never can count Tom out, of course. He is who he is for a reason. So I still Bleav that he'll give them a chance to win, but it was very surprising to see them lose to Carolina the way they did on Sunday.
Basketball is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. As your continued source for all sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use that promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Yep. Nah, I agree with you. You talked about the Panthers having a lot going on the past, few weeks. It's been all over national news, with the Robbie situation, and then that coach got fired earlier in a few weeks before that, or whatever the case may be. But when you look at the Tampa Bay Bucs side, and you just go all the way back to, when the offseason started, Tom retired, come out of retirement. You hear about the rumors about, stuff he got going on off the field or whatnot, missing 2 weeks of camp, so they get a new head coach, and Todd Bowles. So they had a lot going on this all season. But when you look at Tampa, you would think that the leadership presence that they got on that team, carry them through whatever type of turmoil situation that they might have. I mean, you basically got, the same core guys that won that Super Bowl a couple years. So it kind of, like you said, it kind of seems like something from a locker room perspective, leadership perspective, is starting to go on with the team a little bit, just because they do not look themselves. I mean, everybody can point the finger at Tom, don't get me wrong, but when you watch the defense play now, they're not as dominant as they normally are. You going against a Carolina team who you should just demolish, who you should just go out there and just flat out dominate in all aspects of the game, and you go out there and lay an egg. It's very disappointing from their standpoint, but from, the Panther standpoint, you look at that as a building block going in the right direction. They've been looking for quarterback answers this whole time, and they're looking at this as like a huge win, for them. Like, we just beat the Bucs, huge win. We don't got a head coach. Our starting 2 quarterbacks, it's kind of been axed. We're down to our 3rd guy. A lot of rumors been going out about guys getting traded before the deadline. You ain't heard J.C. Horn name. You've heard, just so many different guys, names getting brought up, because everybody knows what the situation is in Carolina. They're basically starting from scratch. But you have some good players over there, and if they continue to, just build on the foundation that they just set by beating the Bucs. I mean, you never know what type of guys can, come out of an ugly situation as a diamond in the rough type thing. So big win for the Panthers, but for the Bucs, it look like they're starting to go in the opposite direction. And, who knows really what's going on in that locker room at the moment.
Yeah, with Tom Brady, look, first off, players are still people, right? And your home life trumps your job. I'm sorry, it does, period. And we all know what's going on with Tom Brady in his home life right now, and it's got to be incredible. Like you brought it up, Rodney, it's got to be incredibly tough to separate his home life when he can't even be at home now, because it's in season, so that's got to be rolling in his head at all times, all the time. Now, I don't necessarily agree with him coming out and saying, well, when the season starts, it's like being deployed in the military. I don't know if look, I've never been an NFL player, but I've never been in the military either. So I would not make that, call myself personally, but I understand where that sentiment is coming from, right? Because you are gone and you're unable to do that. Get back home and spend time and try to fix things, or whatever it is that you need to do. So I'm not going to, hammer him on it. I just, that's just a situation that's a really difficult situation for him right now. But either way, we've been waiting, not necessarily eagerly, as some people might say, but we've been kind of waiting. He's what, 45? At some point, his place got to come down at some point, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be out there at 65 doing, amazing stuff, hopefully. Well, I mean, if he does, that'd be interesting. That'd be incredible. He'd be setting new standards for the NFL. Jerraud, what was a game or a storyline that popped up this past Sunday or Monday, or maybe even the Thursday game that you're interested in?
Yeah, I was going to say it's the Thursday game with the Cardinals and the Saints, and to see, I guess, Kyler and Kliff kind of bicker like how friends would bicker, or how, like how you and a buddy would bicker, was kind of odd to see, because normally when you see players and coaches get into it, you can see the clear, distinctive like boundary from player and coach, so a lot of times when you have shouting matches, it might look disrespectful from a player standpoint, because you don't really kind of I guess, handle yourself in that manner when you're talking to a coach that's your position coach, your head coach, or whatever the case may be. It's a respect manner that kind of go on within, the football unwritten rules, or however you want to put it, to where cameras are on you and you always kind of want to go about dealing with a coworker in a respectful way. But with the whole Kyler and Kliff, it was almost like two roommates yelling at each other, bickering at each other. You might let a couple words fly here and there, and then it's all, set and done just because we won and everybody forgot it. That's how you kind of bicker with your roommate, or, player to player. So to see kind of on a national broadcast, national game, everybody's watching, the face of your franchise walking off the field telling your coach to calm the F down, but in a tense type manner, and the coach sit there, say some words back, but kind of handle himself more so in a way like, I'm not the head coach of this team. I didn't like the way that looked from just from an organizational standpoint. It almost looked like, Kliff is not really the guy. Oh, I'm sorry, I just hit my dang camera. Yeah, it looked like Kliff is not really like the alpha in charge as a head coach, if that makes sense. So it was just kind of weird seeing that. They got the win, so I'm pretty sure like this stuff will kind of just blow over. But if a lot of people remember, a couple weeks ago they had a little situation, Kyler and Kliff on the sideline as well. So it seems like you got, one guy that got recruited by a guy in college that's known a guy, for over 10 years, and same vice versa with Kliff perspective. But I didn't like the way that looked on especially on a national broadcast game with a face of your franchise and your head coach kind of bickering like roommates. So that was kind of something I think you should just keep an eye on going forward.
It's kind of weird that we're seeing that quite a bit now. It might just be that we're looking for it, but like just a few years ago, or weeks ago, there against Kansas City, we saw Mahomes and the enemy kind of go through that exact same situation, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but one
I think
thing
I think Mahomes might have a little more leverage.
Yeah, you get a couple MVPs and Super Bowls. Yeah. You can kind of do what you want, but
just a little leverage. But even still, I think that more so came out of frustration of the way the game was going, and that was obviously versus us, and his competitive mindset. But even still, I don't think it was at the level of what we saw, like Jerraud said on Thursday with Kyler and their coach in Arizona. I just think there seems to be maybe a loss. He doesn't necessarily have as much control and respect, as he might think, and that's never good. That over time can be scary. So I feel like the coach handled himself, in that moment very professionally, but I wonder what was said later on, behind the scenes. But
like if Bruce Arians was still the coach at AZ, that wouldn't have flew. Like that wouldn't have happened. And I've seen quarterbacks and head coaches get into like heated discussions in the locker room, in the midst of like a huddle, to where didn't nobody even know what was going on. But just to see like a timeout being called, and your quarterback's walking to the field and the head coach is walking towards the quarterback, and you can like literally read the lips and what's being said. Like that's just bad business. This is bad business at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, when emotions are high, it's sometimes you forget to think about what you're doing and what you're showing to the national, audience. But
or if you're tired of dealing with someone, that leash just might get short.
Well, that's true.
That's what it seemed like. That's what it definitely seemed like.
That's true too. But one thing about that game, it kind of, to me, it shows to me that, what, Kyler was missing his weapons, because the team scored 42 points.
Defense had 2 touchdowns, I think.
Defense.
Yeah. I think Kyler threw for like 200, 209. He didn't play bad, don't get me wrong, but it also helps when D-Hop is back.
And I think D-Hop did have 100. Yeah,
over 100.
Yeah. They still scored 28 points on offense, right? I mean, that's still a good offensive outing. Ask any Colts fan. Sorry, I had to throw my dig in on that one. Speaking of another game that I really wanted to get into was the Monday Night Football game. Holy crap, the Bears. Who saw this coming? The Bears just straight up manhandling the New England Patriots. Zappy coming in after an intercept. I think it was an interception, wasn't it? That they brought Bailey Zappy in, and he started playing
He lit it up.
Lit it up, man. For comparably, anyhow, compared to Mac Jones. But the real story is, in my opinion, Justin Fields in this offense was absolutely phenomenal.
I think they're just starting to do stuff that fits Justin Fields' ability. You know, like you can't draft a mobile type QB and expect him to be a pocket passer. Like you gotta put guys in the best position that suits, what they do best and let them go play. And everybody knows Justin likes to scramble. He likes to make, plays, extend it a little longer and make a play or whatnot. Give him a couple RPO type reads. But if you're going to just let Justin Fields just sit in the pocket all day long and expect him to be Aaron Rodgers or somebody, it's not going to work. So to watch Chicago week in, week out get better and better, it seemed like they're starting to figure out the stuff that Justin Fields like to do within the offense, and you're starting to see success a little bit. And everybody knows their defense has always been pretty good. Even through the bad years, their defense always been pretty good. And it seemed like them guys, Coach Allen, from he was actually my DB coach when I was in Indy, Coach Allen, and now he's a DC now over there with Chicago. So it's kind of cool to see, that those type guys go over there and get that organization headed in the right direction.
Yeah, man. I think, you see Justin Fields really just taking command of the offense and people really embracing him as that leader within that locker room. And, you said it. He did a lot yesterday, particularly with his legs. I remember vividly a few times third down, third downs, it looks as if they have him for a loss of 10 and now he scrambles for a gain of 20. I mean, that's just his skill set and ability that he has, and made some great throws last night too. You can tell like he was very poised, particularly on the first couple of drives, just to get the game started. Making checks, they came out in a cover 0 one time, check to a screenplay. So you can see that preparation is there. Like he's applying everything that he's doing in practice and bringing it to the field, finding his weapons, man. And you just said it tied in with a good defense, being able to turn over the ball. It works hand in hand. And that was a game that you saw it could have swung in a different direction. You talked about, when they bring in, what's my man name? Zappy. Zappy, they brought him in, quickly score 14. And you could feel the momentum in the building and everything just going the Patriots' way. But Justin Fields counters, man, comes right back. And so that's what you want to see. It's the ups and flows, the ups and downs of a game, and how do you respond? And I think he did a amazing job, man. And now they sit 3-4 right now, and so there's still a lot of ball to be played. And young kid,
they lost.
Keeps playing like that.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm about to say they lost.
Like that, be good.
And they lost a close one last week. Remember last play of the game, the guy just bobbled the ball. But if he catches that cleanly, that's 2 back-to-back wins for Justin Fields and the Bears. So it does seem like they're playing good ball, though.
Yeah. Two things that I noticed yesterday in that game was a little bit of recognition by Fields. I was noticing that when he saw that it was zone coverage, he kind of stayed in the pocket, sat there, and then scanned the field, right? And when he saw man coverage or a blitz with man coverage, he took off. Almost every time it seemed like he would take off because the defensive backs was to him and he could just go. Another thing that I noticed, and it stuck out to me like a sore thumb, was the difference between a guy like Justin Fields and a pocket quarterback like Tom Brady or Matt Ryan when a snap is bobbled. When a snap is bobbled, you got a pocket quarterback. What do? They drop on it. They don't matter if anyone's even near them. They drop on it, huddle around the football to protect it, and lay there, right? Justin Fields bobbled a snap yesterday, casually picked it up and ran for a first down. Okay. I mean, that's the difference right there. That's a huge difference that I happen to notice. So that's going to be really interesting.
Sometimes it could be a gift and a curse and a curse for you at the same time, because when you always think, you're able to escape it all, you saw a couple plays from him where you wish, man, he would have just threw the ball away, right? Instead of being sacked and losing yardage. And it's a field position battle as you go throughout the game, especially tight games. And where we're talking about the way Chicago season has gone thus far, they're winning 12-7, losing 12-10. They're accustomed to games like that. So he just has to be very mindful in those situations as he moves forward throughout the season and just being smart. But I think, right now you see him managing the game well. He's not having these crazy, 300-yard games. It's just enough, right? And it works for that specific team. But I think as they go throughout the year, he'll continue to build confidence, and you'll start to see him, have much more success.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for the Week 7 NFL breakdown. Thanks to everybody for watching and listening. Please make sure you subscribe or download or share to your favorite social media. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That was Jerraud Powers, Rodney McLeod. This was Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, have a good one.
Do you believe?